In the heart of New York City's glittering skyline, where the elite dined under chandeliers that dripped like frozen rain, stood the opulent Crystal Palace restaurant. It was a place where fortunes were made over caviar and deals sealed with vintage wine, far removed from the gritty streets below. On this fateful evening, the air hummed with the low murmur of power brokers and socialites, their laughter tinkling like fine china. Amidst the sea of privilege worked Aaliyah Thompson, a 28-year-old black waitress whose smile masked a lifetime of struggles. Her uniform, crisp and black, hugged her frame as she navigated the tables with practiced grace, balancing trays laden with gourmet delicacies that cost more than her monthly rent. Aaliyah had come to the city 5 years ago, fleeing a small southern town where opportunities were as scarce as kindness from strangers. She dreamed of something more, perhaps owning her own cafe one day, where soul food met sophistication. But for now, she poured her energy into surviving the long shifts, dodging the occasional leering glance from patrons who saw her as little more than scenery. Tonight, the restaurant was buzzing with anticipation. Rumors swirled that tech mogul Elias Hawthorne, the enigmatic billionaire whose net worth eclipsed small countries, would be dining in the VIP section. Elias, at 42, was a legend, the founder of Hawthorne Tech, a company that revolutionized AI and cybersecurity, making him one of the richest men alive. Yet, he was notoriously reclusive, his personal life shrouded in mystery. Whispers hinted at a tragic past, a lost love, perhaps, or a family scandal, but no one dared ask. As Aaliyah approached table 7, her tray teetered slightly under the weight of crystal glasses and porcelain plates. The VIP booth was dimly lit, casting long shadows over Elias's sharp features. He sat alone, his tailored suit impeccable, scrolling through his phone with an intensity that made the air around him feel charged. His dark hair was streaked with premature gray, a testament to the burdens of his empire. Aaliyah's heart raced. Serving someone like him could mean a generous tip, enough to cover her overdue bills. "Good evening, sir," she said, her voice steady despite the nerves. "Your appetizer, seared foie gras with truffle reduction." But as she leaned in to place the plate, disaster struck. Her foot caught on the edge of a misplaced chair leg courtesy of a careless busboy, and the tray slipped from her grasp. Time seemed to slow as the plate tumbled, shattering against the marble floor with a deafening clatter that silenced the room. Shards of porcelain scattered like confetti, and the foie gras smeared across Elias's polished shoes. Gasps rippled through the diners, heads turned, eyes wide with shock. Aaliyah's face burned with humiliation. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she stammered, dropping to her knees instinctively to clean the mess, her hands trembling as she gathered the fragments. What happened next would etch itself into the annals of urban legend. Elias Hawthorne, the untouchable titan, didn't bark orders or summon the manager. Instead, in a move that defied every expectation, he slid from his booth and knelt beside her. His knees hit the floor with a soft thud, and he began picking up the shards with his bare hands, his expensive cufflinks glinting under the lights. The room froze, forks hovered midair, conversations died. A billionaire on his knees? For a waitress? It was unthinkable, shocking, a breach of the invisible barriers that separated the haves from the have-nots. Aaliyah looked up, her brown eyes meeting his piercing blue ones. "Sir, you don't have to," she began, but he cut her off with a gentle smile, one that softened the hard lines of his face. "It's just a plate," he said softly, his voice carrying a warmth that contrasted his public persona. "No harm done." As he helped her, their hands brushed, sending an inexplicable spark through her. Whispers erupted around them. Is that really Hawthorne? What's he doing? Curiosity hung thick in the air, like smoke from a forbidden fire. The manager, Mr. Vincenzo, rushed over, his face pale. "Mr. Hawthorne, I apologize profusely. This employee will be dealt with," but Elias stood, helping Aaliyah to her feet with a firm but kind grip. "Dealt with? For an accident? Absolutely not. Bring us another appetizer, and make sure she's not in trouble." Vincenzo nodded vigorously, retreating like a scolded child. Aaliyah stood there, dazed, as Elias gestured for her to sit across from him. "Join me for a moment," he said. "I insist." Hesitant, she slid into the booth, her mind racing. Why would a man like him do this? Was it pity? A publicity stunt? Or something deeper? As they talked, Elias revealed snippets of himself, how he hated the pretentiousness of places like this, how he started his company in a garage with nothing but dreams and debt. Aaliyah shared her own story, growing up in poverty, the racism she'd faced in the industry, her aspirations. The conversation flowed effortlessly, laced with laughter and shared glances that hinted at an unspoken connection. But beneath the surface, curiosity gnawed at Aaliyah. Elias's eyes held a shadow, a hint of sorrow that made her wonder what secrets he harbored. Little did she know, this clatter was no mere accident, it was the catalyst for a storm that would upend both their lives. As the evening wore on, Elias slipped her his card. "Call me if you ever need anything," he said, his tone sincere. She pocketed it, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Word spread like wildfire through the restaurant staff. By closing time, Aaliyah was the talk of the kitchen. "Girl, you just met Elias Hawthorne, and he knelt for you," her co-worker Jamal teased. But Aaliyah couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. That night, as she lay in her tiny apartment, staring at the card, she dialed the number impulsively. "Hello," his voice answered, surprising her with its immediacy. What followed was a whirlwind. Elias invited her to his penthouse the next day, not for romance, he assured, but to discuss an opportunity. Skeptical yet intrigued, Aaliyah arrived at the towering skyscraper, her simple dress feeling out of place amid the marble lobby. The elevator whisked her to the top floor, where Elias greeted her with coffee and a view that stole her breath. The city sprawled below like a glittering carpet. "I saw something in you last night," he confessed. "Resilience. I want to help you start that cafe you mentioned." Aaliyah's jaw dropped. Was this real? A billionaire offering to fund her dream? Shock coursed through her, but so did doubt. Why me? There must be a catch. Elias leaned back, his expression turning grave. "There is. I need your help with something personal." He revealed a fragment of his past. Years ago, he'd lost his sister to a tragic accident, one tied to corporate espionage in his company. Since then, he'd been haunted, withdrawing from the world. But recently, threats had resurfaced, anonymous letters hinting at secrets that could destroy Hawthorne Tech. "I need someone I can trust outside my circle," he said. "Someone like you, who's seen the real world." Aaliyah's curiosity piqued. Help a billionaire uncover threats? It sounded like a thriller novel. But as they delved deeper, she noticed details: a scar on his hand from the plate shards, his genuine laughter that lit up the room. The hook was set, she agreed, drawn into his orbit. Days blurred into a montage of meetings. Elias mentored her on business plans, while she provided fresh perspectives on his company's diversity issues, pointing out how Hawthorne Tech's board was overwhelmingly white and male. "You're missing voices like mine," she challenged, and he listened, implementing changes that shocked his executives. But shadows loomed. One evening, as they worked late, a power outage plunged the penthouse into darkness. In the flickering candlelight, Elias confessed more. His rise to wealth involved cutting corners, deals with shady investors that now haunted him. "I'm not the hero the media paints," he admitted. Aaliyah's heart twisted. Was he a villain in disguise? Then came the first shock. A package arrived at her door, containing photos of her and Elias together, with a note: "Stay away, or pay the price." Fear gripped her. Who was watching? Elias's enemies? Or something closer? As tensions built, Aaliyah discovered her own strength. She confronted a rude patron at work, channeling the confidence Elias inspired. Word of their friendship leaked to tabloids, igniting curiosity nationwide. Billionaire's mystery news: who was the waitress who brought him to his knees? The section's climax hit when, during a charity gala Elias invited her to, an assassin attempted to strike. In the chaos, Elias shielded her, taking a graze from a bullet. Kneeling again, this time in blood, he whispered, "I can't lose you too." Aaliyah's world shattered, the hook deepened. What secrets would the next revelation bring? The gala's grand ballroom, once a symphony of clinking glasses and orchestral swells, had devolved into pandemonium. Flashing lights from emergency vehicles pierced the night outside the opulent venue, casting eerie red and blue hues across the faces of the fleeing elite. Aaliyah Thompson knelt on the polished floor, her elegant gown, borrowed from Elias's stylist, now stained with specks of blood. Elias Hawthorne lay beside her, his shoulder grazed by the assassin's bullet, his face pale but his eyes fierce with determination. Paramedics swarmed, but he waved them off, insisting on privacy. "I'm fine," he growled, clutching Aaliyah's hand. "But we need to get out of here, now." Her mind reeled, who would target him like this? And why did his words, "I can't lose you too," echo with such raw pain? As security whisked them into a armored limo, Aaliyah's curiosity ignited like a fuse. This wasn't just a billionaire's whim, it was a descent into shadows she never imagined. The drive to Elias's secluded Hamptons estate was a tense blur of winding roads and hushed phone calls. Elias, bandaged hastily, revealed fragments of the threat. "It's tied to my past. A rival company, Vortex Dynamics, has been gunning for Hawthorne tech secrets. But this feels personal." Aaliyah pressed a cold compress to his wound, her fingers lingering on his skin, feeling the rapid pulse beneath. "Personal how?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated, his blue eyes darkening. "My sister, Isabella. She wasn't just in an accident, she was murdered. Poisoned, they said, but I know it was corporate sabotage." The revelation hit Aaliyah like a thunderclap. Murder? In the world of billionaires? Her own life, marked by everyday battles against discrimination and poverty, suddenly paled against this web of intrigue. Yet, as the limo pulled into the estate's gated drive, flanked by towering oaks that whispered secrets in the wind, she felt an inexplicable pull toward him, a spark of humility in a man who could buy empires. The estate was a fortress disguised as paradise, sprawling lawns, a private helipad, and walls lined with art that could fund nations. Inside, Elias led her to a hidden study, its shelves groaning under leather-bound tomes and holographic displays flickering with stock tickers. "This is where I fight my wars," he said, pouring them both scotch from a crystal decanter. Aaliyah sipped, the burn steadying her nerves. "Why involve me? I'm just a waitress." He turned, his gaze intense. "Because you're real. Untainted by this world. And after last night, that plate dropping? It was fate's way of kneeling me before you." His words hung heavy, laced with vulnerability. As they talked into the night, Elias shared more, his humble beginnings in a foster home, the racism he'd witnessed as a mixed-race kid adopted by a wealthy family. "Wait, mixed race?" Aaliyah's eyes widened. "You're..." He nodded. "My mother was black, father white. I pass, as they say. But I've hidden it, to navigate boardrooms without the extra fight." Shock rippled through her, the billionaire kneeling wasn't just humble, he was one of them, in shadows. Curiosity clawed at Aaliyah. How deep did his secrets go? As dawn broke, casting golden rays through floor-to-ceiling windows, Elias showed her a dossier on Vortex Dynamics CEO, Victor Kane, a ruthless tycoon with a history of hostile takeovers and whispered ties to underground networks. "He's the one sending threats," Elias confided. "But I need proof." Aaliyah, emboldened, suggested infiltrating an upcoming tech conference where Kane would speak. "I can pose as staff, blend in." Elias's laugh was genuine, warm. "You're fearless." But as they planned, a knock echoed, his assistant, Lena, a sharp-eyed woman with a clipboard and suspicions. "Sir, the press is swarming. Rumors of you and her." Lena's glance at Aaliyah was laced with disdain, igniting a spark of jealousy Aaliyah hadn't expected. Was Lena more than an assistant? Days morphed into a whirlwind of preparation. Elias funded Aaliyah's cafe dream with a seed investment, but insisted on her input for Hawthorne Tech's new diversity initiative. "Name it after you, the Aaliyah Project," he proposed over breakfast on the terrace, overlooking the ocean's crashing waves. Her heart fluttered, was this romance blooming amid danger? Yet, shadows crept in. Anonymous calls plagued her phone, heavy breathing, then a distorted voice, "He's using you." Dig deeper. Curiosity turned to paranoia. Who was warning her? At night, in the guest suite with silk sheets and a view of stars, Aaliyah scrolled through old articles on Elias. Headlines screamed success, but buried forums hinted at scandals, a vanished partner, embezzlement whispers. Was he the hero or the villain? The tech conference loomed, a glittering affair in Silicon Valley's heart. Aaliyah, disguised in a caterer's uniform, slipped through back doors, her earpiece connected to Elias in the audience. "Eyes on Kane," he murmured. Victor Kane took the stage, his silver hair gleaming under spotlights, spewing platitudes about innovation while his eyes scanned the crowd like a predator. Aaliyah maneuvered closer, planting a tiny bug Elias had provided under his podium during a break. But as she retreated, a hand clamped her arm. Kane's security, a burly man with a scar. "Who sent you?" he snarled. Panic surged, she twisted free, dashing into the crowd. Elias appeared like a shadow, pulling her into an alcove. "You okay?" His breath was hot on her neck, their bodies close. In that moment, adrenaline fueled, they shared a kiss, electric, shocking, full of unspoken promises. But the hook deepened. Back at the hotel, reviewing the bug's audio, they heard Kane's voice. Hawthorne's sister was just the start. Now, his new pet, the black waitress? Make it look like an accident. Aaliyah's blood ran cold. They knew about her? Elias's face hardened. "I won't let them touch you." As they hunkered down, plotting countermeasures, Aaliyah uncovered a hidden safe in Elias's suite. Inside, photos of Isabella, eerily similar to Aaliyah, same warm smile, same determined eyes. "She looked like me," Aaliyah whispered, shockwaves crashing. Was Elias drawn to her as a replacement? Curiosity morphed into doubt. The next shock came swiftly. During a midnight strategy session, Elias's phone buzzed, a video message. Playing it, they watched in horror, grainy footage of Aaliyah's old apartment, ransacked, with a note pinned to the wall, "Kneel or fall." Elias knelt again, this time in fury, slamming his fist. "This ends now." He revealed his own shadows. Years ago, he'd cut a deal with Kane to bury Isabella's murder, fearing exposure of his company's early hacks, illegal breaches that built his empire. "I'm not clean," he admitted, tears glistening. Aaliyah's world tilted, the humble spark was tainted by darkness. Yet, engagement pulled her deeper. They fled to a safe house in the mountains, a rustic cabin far from prying eyes. There, amid crackling fires and shared stories, intimacy bloomed. Elias cooked for her, simple soul food reminiscent of her roots, kneeling to serve with a wink. "See? I can be domestic." Laughter mingled with passion, their bodies entwining in a dance of discovery. But curiosity nagged. A locked room in the cabin held mysteries. Sneaking in one night, Aaliyah found files, evidence of Elias's heritage, suppressed to protect his image, and a letter from Isabella. "Brother, don't hide who we are." Shock, he was denying his black roots for power? Tensions escalated when Kane's men tracked them. A high-speed chase through winding roads, Elias swerving the SUV like a pro, Aaliyah clutching the dash. "Hold on." Bullets pinged off armored glass, hearts racing. They escaped, but Elias took another graze, this time to the arm. Kneeling in the dirt roadside, bandaging him, Aaliyah confronted, "Why hide your identity?" He sighed. "Fear. Boardrooms aren't kind to us." Her empathy surged, but so did resolve. "Then change it. With me." Returning to New York, they leaked partial evidence to the press, anonymous tips about Kane's crimes. Tabloids exploded, Billionaire's secret love and deadly feud. Curiosity nationwide, was the kneeling billionaire a savior or schemer? But Kane retaliated, hacking Hawthorne text systems, exposing minor scandals. Elias knelt in his boardroom, begging allies for support. "This is my fight, for Isabella, for Aaliyah." In a shocking twist, Lena betrayed them, revealed as Kane's mole, jealous of Aaliyah's place. Confronted in Elias's office, Lena sneered, "You think you're special? He's just using your story for PR." A scuffle ensued, Lena fleeing with stolen data. Aaliyah chased, tackling her in the lobby, a waitress turned warrior. Police arrived, but Lena whispered a final hook, "Ask him about the real accident." Isabella didn't die by poison, she drove off a cliff, after he argued with her. Aaliyah's eyes met Elias's across the chaos. Doubt seeded anew. As they retreated to the penthouse, rain lashing windows, she demanded truth. "What really happened to your sister?" Elias knelt once more, this time in surrender, tears streaming. "We fought." about my hiding our heritage. She left angry, the roads were slick. It was my fault. The humble spark cracked, revealing guilt's shadows. Aaliyah's heart broke, yet curiosity burned. Could she forgive? Or was this the end? But the night held one more shock. A package arrived inside, a locket from Isabella, engraved, "To my brother, embrace the light." How did it get here? Elias's eyes widened. Cain must have it. The game escalated, alliances fractured, curiosities unanswered. As they embraced amid uncertainty, Aaliyah whispered, "We'll uncover it all." The hook pulled taut. What revelations awaited in the empire's cracks? The penthouse felt like a cage of glass and steel, rain pounding against the panoramic windows as if the sky itself wept for the secrets unraveling below. Aaliyah Thompson paced the sleek living room, her bare feet sinking into the plush rug, while Elias Hawthorne sat slumped on the leather sofa, his bandaged arm a stark reminder of the chaos they'd escaped. The locket from Isabella dangled from his fingers, its silver chain catching the dim light like a noose of memories. "She gave this to me on her last birthday," he murmured, his voice cracking. "Inside, there's a photo of us as kids, before the world tore us apart." Aaliyah stopped, her heart aching at the vulnerability in his eyes. But Lena's parting words clawed at her mind, the argument, the cliff, the accident that wasn't. "Elias," she said softly, kneeling before him in a mirror of his own gestures, "tell me everything. No more shadows." He met her gaze, and in that moment, the whispers of the past began to echo, pulling them into a vortex of revelations that would test the fragile bond they'd forged. As Elias spoke, the story poured out like a dam breaking. Isabella wasn't just his sister, she was his anchor, the one who pushed him to embrace their shared black heritage in a world that rewarded assimilation. "We grew up in foster care after our parents died in a car crash, Mom from complications during childbirth, Dad from grief," they said. His words painted vivid pictures, young Elias, light-skinned enough to pass, adopting a polished accent and burying his roots to climb the corporate ladder. Isabella, darker like their mother, refused to hide, becoming an activist who challenged systemic racism in tech. She joined Hawthorne Tech early on, heading diversity programs. "But when I struck that deal with Cain, selling out a competitor's data to fund our growth, she called me out." "You're erasing us, Eli," she screamed that night. Rain was pouring, just like now. She stormed out, got in her car. The police said she lost control on the wet roads. Tears streamed down his face, and Aaliyah reached out, her hand on his knee. But curiosity burned. Was it truly an accident, or had Cain's hand been in it even then? The confession hung heavy, but Aaliyah's empathy warred with doubt. "Why keep this from me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Elias sighed. "Guilt. And fear you'd see me as the monster I feel like." As thunder rumbled outside, he stood, leading her to a hidden wall safe behind a Monet painting. Inside lay Isabella's journaled pages filled with fiery entries about corporate greed, sketches of a better world, and cryptic notes. "VK knows our bloodline." Threatened exposure. Aaliyah's eyes widened. Victor Cain knew about Elias's heritage? "He used it as leverage," Elias explained. "Blackmailed me into silence after her death. If I went public, he'd ruin me with proof of my involvement." Shock rippled through Aaliyah. A humble billionaire was entangled in a web of blood and betrayal. But as she flipped through the journal, a photo slipped out: Isabella at a protest, arm linked with a woman who looked strikingly like Aaliyah's mother. "Wait, this can't be," she whispered, her world tilting. Curiosity exploded into a frantic search. Aaliyah pulled out her phone, scrolling through old family albums she'd digitized. There it was, her mother, young and vibrant, at the same protest. They knew each other? Elias leaned in, his breath catching. Isabella mentioned a friend from the South, someone who inspired her activism. Could it be? The connection was electric, a hook that reeled them deeper. What if their meeting wasn't fate, but a threaded legacy? That night, unable to sleep, they pored over documents, piecing together timelines. Isabella and Aaliyah's. "Mom never talked about her," Aaliyah said, tears welling. "She died when I was 10, cancer. But she left me a necklace, similar to this locket." Rushing to her bag, she produced it, identical engraving, "Embrace the light." The echo was deafening. Whispers of the past weren't just Elias's, they were hers too. As dawn broke, casting pink hues over the city, Elias's phone buzzed with an encrypted message from a whistleblower inside Vortex Dynamics. Meet at the old warehouse. Proof of Kane's involvement in Isabella's death. Adrenaline surged. It's a trap, Aaliyah warned, but Elias's eyes gleamed with resolve. Or our chance. Come with me? She nodded, the curiosity too potent to ignore. They donned disguises, hoodies and caps, and slipped out through a secret exit, evading paparazzi swarming the building. The drive to the abandoned warehouse on the city's outskirts was tense, fog rolling in like a shroud. If this goes south, Elias said, squeezing her hand, know that you've changed me. Made me want to kneel not in shame, but in truth. The warehouse loomed, its rusted doors creaking open to reveal dim shadows and dripping water. A figure waited in the center, a nervous engineer named Raj, fidgeting with a flash drive. Kane rigged Isabella's car, he whispered, handing it over. Brakes tampered, covered up as accident. And he's planning something bigger, hacking global grids using your AI tech. Shockwaves hit. This wasn't just personal vendetta, but a threat to the world. As Elias pocketed the drive, footsteps echoed. Kane's goons, ambushing from the rafters. You should have stayed, knelt, Hawthorne, one sneered, guns drawn. Chaos erupted. Elias shoved Aaliyah behind crates as bullets whizzed. She grabbed a loose pipe, swinging it like a bat, clocking one attacker. Run! Elias yelled, but she fought back, her waitress reflexes honed from dodging kitchen hazards turning lethal. They escaped through a side door, hearts pounding, but not before Raj was shot, his dying words, the journal, key to it all. Back in the car, speeding away, Aaliyah clutched the drive. We need to decode this. Elias nodded, but his phone rang. Kane's voice, smooth as poison, nice try. But I have something of yours. A photo texted, Aaliyah's younger brother, Jamal, bound and gagged. No, she screamed. The hook sank deeper, family now entangled. Racing to a safe secondary location, an underground bunker Elias had built for emergencies, they analyzed the drive. Files revealed Kane's empire, not just tech, but ties to shadowy government contracts, using AI to manipulate elections and suppress minority voices. He's weaponizing what I created, Elias groaned. But Isabella's journal held clues, coded entries matching the drive's encryption. Working together, they cracked it, evidence of Kane's tampering, plus a bombshell. Elias and Isabella weren't foster kids by accident. Their parents' crash? Orchestrated by Kane's father, a rival mogul, to steal patents. Our whole life, a lie? Elias whispered, kneeling in despair. Aaliyah pulled him up. Then we expose it. For them. Curiosity fueled their plan, infiltrate Kane's gala that night, posing as investors. But whispers echoed louder, Aaliyah's dreams haunted by her mother's voice, find the light in the shadows. At the gala, opulent and guarded, they slipped in. Kane, toasting victories, locked eyes with Elias across the room. Ah, the prodigal son returns. Son? Shock, Kane revealed himself as Elias's biological uncle, hidden to protect the family empire. Your mother ran from us, married beneath her. I tried to bring her back, but accidents happen. The revelation shattered Elias. You killed them all? Kane smirked. For the greater good. Aaliyah, hidden nearby, recorded it all on a hidden cam. But as she transmitted to allies, guards spotted her. A chase through marble halls, gowns tearing, chandeliers swinging. Elias fought off assailants, kneeling to shield her again. Go! They escaped to the roof, helicopter waiting, Elias's contingency. As blades whirred, Kane's voice boomed over speakers, you can't run from blood. Safely airborne, Aaliyah's mind raced. Blood? If Kane was family, what else hid? Back at the penthouse, they dug deeper. DNA tests Elias had run years ago, suppressed, confirmed relation. But a twist, Aaliyah's mother was Isabella's half-sister, making them distant cousins. We're connected by more than chance, she gasped. The echoes amplified, past whispers screaming truths. Yet danger mounted. Jamal's location pinged, held in Kane's compound. A daring rescue. Aaliyah, disguised as a maid, infiltrated while Elias hacked security. Tension peaked in dim corridors, guards patrolling. She found Jamal, untied him, but alarms blared. Gunfire echoed. Elias burst in, taking a hit to the leg. Kneeling in pain, he urged them out. "Leave me." But Aaliyah dragged him, family united. Escaping, they leaked the evidence online anonymously at first, then Elias went public in a viral video. "I kneel today not in defeat, but to honor my heritage, my sister, and the woman who showed me light." Views skyrocketed. Curiosity global. The billionaires fall from grace? Or redemption? But Kane countered, framing them as terrorists. Hunted, they went underground, whispers guiding to an old family cabin, Isabella's hideout. There, buried treasures, more evidence, including a will naming Aaliyah's mother heir to a forgotten fortune. Shock, Aaliyah was rich? "Mom hid it to protect me," she realized. As authorities closed in, a final hook, a mole in Kane's team flipped, delivering him bound. Confrontation in the rain-soaked woods. Kane knelt, begging. Family forgives. Elias, gun in hand, hesitated. No. Justice does. Handing him to FBI, but not before Kane's whisper, "There's more. Your child." Isabella's secret. Child? The echo thundered. What heir lurked in shadows? Aaliyah's hand on Elias's. "We'll find out together." Curiosity unending, past's whispers propelling into forbidden alliances ahead. Section 4, Unveiled Scars, the Waitress's Buried Secrets. The FBI vans screeched away into the misty dawn, their red lights fading like dying embers, leaving Elias Hawthorne and Aaliyah Thompson standing in the rain-drenched woods, breathless and battered. Kane's final whisper, "Your child." Isabella's secret hung in the air like a venomous fog, poisoning the fragile victory they'd snatched. Elias's face was a mask of torment, his knees buckling as he leaned against a gnarled oak, the weight of yet another revelation threatening to crush him. Aaliyah reached out, her hand steady despite the storm raging inside her. "We'll find the truth," she promised, but her voice wavered. As they trudged back to the cabin, hidden deep in the forest Isabella once called her sanctuary, Aaliyah felt an unfamiliar dread coil in her gut. The past wasn't just echoing for Elias, it was clawing its way into her own life, unearthing scars she'd buried under layers of resilience and forgotten dreams. Little did she know, the unveiling had only begun, and her secrets would shock them both to the core. Inside the cabin, the air was thick with the scent of pine and old paper. They collapsed onto worn couches, the fireplace crackling to life as Elias tossed in logs with trembling hands. "A child? Isabella never mentioned, how could she hide that?" he muttered, pacing like a caged animal. Aaliyah watched him, her mind drifting to the necklace her mother had left her, the one matching Isabella's locket. "Maybe it's connected to my mom," she ventured. They were close. What if? But Elias cut her off, his eyes flashing. "We need answers. Now." He pulled out Isabella's journal again, flipping to the coded entries they'd partially deciphered. As they huddled over it, decoding with a mix of tech gadgets and sheer will, a hidden page revealed itself, torn edges, stained with what looked like dried blood. The words jumped out, "The baby, hidden from VK. My blood, our future. Entrusted to the one who shares our scars." Aaliyah's breath hitched. Scars? Her hand instinctively touched the faint mark on her collarbone, a childhood injury she'd always dismissed as an accident. Curiosity ignited. What if her life was more intertwined than she imagined? The decoding led to a name, Dr. Elena Voss, a geneticist who'd worked with Isabella on secret projects. "She might know about the child," Elias said, his voice laced with hope and fear. They decided to track her down, but first, rest was essential. That night, as Elias slept fitfully, Aaliyah slipped outside, the moon casting silver paths through the trees. She needed air, space to process. But in the quiet, memories flooded back, unwelcome guests she'd long evicted. Growing up in that dusty southern town, Aaliyah wasn't just poor, she was marked. Whispers in school about her mysterious origins, her mother's hushed arguments with strangers. "You're special, baby," her mom would say, tracing that scar. From a line of fighters. But what line? As a teen, Aaliyah had rebelled, running with the wrong crowd, dabbling in petty theft to survive after her mom's death. One night, it escalated: a botched robbery, a chase, and a fall that left her with more scars, physical and emotional. She'd fled to New York, reinventing herself as the hard-working waitress. But now, with Elias's world crashing into hers, those buried secrets clawed for light. Dawn brought action. They drove to Voss's last known address, a secluded lab in upstate New York, disguised as a wellness retreat. En route, Elias shared more vulnerabilities. "I've knelt for you, Aaliyah, but I fear what we'll find." She squeezed his hand, but her own secrets gnawed. At the lab, Dr. Voss greeted them warily, her white coat pristine, eyes sharp behind glasses. "Isabella's brother? And you look just like her friend." Aaliyah's heart pounded. "My mother." Voss nodded, ushering them into a sterile office lined with DNA charts. "Isabella came to me years ago, pregnant, scared. Kane threatened her life if she exposed his family's crimes. The baby was from a brief affair with an activist ally. She hid the pregnancy, gave birth in secret." Shock slammed into Elias. "Where is the child now?" Voss hesitated. "Adopted. But Isabella left clues, for protection." She handed over a file, genetic tests showing the child's DNA matched Elias's family and Aaliyah's. The room spun. Aaliyah grabbed the file, scanning, maternal link to Thompson lineage. "What does this mean?" she demanded. Voss's voice softened. "Your mother wasn't just Isabella's friend, she was her half-sister. Same father, different mothers. Kane's brother, actually. Your scar? From a childhood accident orchestrated to silence your mom." Aaliyah reeled, collapsing into a chair. "Half-sisters? Her mom and Isabella? That made Isabella her aunt, Elias her cousin?" "No, the lineage is twisted. Kane's family tree was a labyrinth of affairs and cover-ups." "You're related distantly," Voss clarified. "But the child Isabella's is your cousin too." Hidden to break the cycle. Curiosity exploded. Aaliyah's buried secrets weren't just personal, they were dynastic bombshells. But the shocks deepened. Voss revealed Aaliyah's own DNA anomaly. "You have a rare marker resilience gene, they call it. Isabella studied it. Kane wanted it for his AI enhancements, super soldiers, essentially." Aaliyah's mind flashed to her survival instincts, the way she'd always bounced back. "Was it genetic?" Elias stared at her, awe and horror mixing. "You're the key he's been after." As they absorbed this, alarms blared: Kane's escape from FBI custody, headlines screaming on Voss's monitor. "He's coming for the child, and you." Panic surged, they fled the lab, but not before Voss slipped Aaliyah a vial. "Your blood. Use it wisely." The drive back was a nightmare of evasion, Kane's mercenaries tailing in black SUVs. Elias swerved through rural roads, Aaliyah clutching the vial like a talisman. "Why me?" she cried. "Because you're unbreakable," he replied, but his eyes held unspoken fear. They ditched the car, hiking to a hidden safehouse, a forgotten mine shaft Isabella had mapped in her journal. Inside, damp walls echoed their footsteps, lanterns casting flickering shadows. As they caught their breath, Aaliyah confronted her scars. "I wasn't always this resilient hero," she confessed. "Back home, I was in a gang. We robbed a store, wrong place, wrong time. A guard died. I didn't pull the trigger, but I was there. Ran away, changed my name slightly. Thompson was Mom's maiden." Elias's eyes widened. "You killed?" "No. But guilt scarred me deeper than any knife." The unveiling hurt, but his embrace was forgiveness. "We all have shadows." Curiosity pulled them deeper into the mine. Isabella's clues led to a locked chest. Inside, photos of a young boy, about 10 now, with eyes like Elias's. The child, named Alex. Hidden with foster parents in Canada. But a note: "Beware the waitress's scar, it holds the map." Aaliyah touched her collarbone scar again. Under UV light from Elias's phone, it revealed micro-etched coordinates. "Tattooed? When I was a kid?" Shock: her mom had inked a secret map into her skin, protecting the family's last hope. As they planned to retrieve Alex, Kane's forces breached the mine. Explosions rocked the tunnels, dust choking the air. Aaliyah and Elias ran, hand in hand, but a collapse separated them. Alone in the dark, Aaliyah's scars guided her, memories of survival kicking in. She fought off a goon, using the vial to inject herself? No, Voss's words, it's an enhancer. She downed it, strength surging, breaking through debris to find Elias pinned. Lifting beams like superhuman, she freed him. What was in that? He gasped. Me, she said, eyes glowing faintly. The escape was cinematic, leaping chasms, outrunning floods from breached walls. Emerging into daylight, they stole a truck, heading north. But Aaliyah's secrets unraveled more, dreams plagued her, visions of her mom's final days. She whispered about a lost nephew, Alex. Curiosity burned. Was she meant to protect him all along? En route, they stopped at a motel, where Elias tended her wounds. Intimacy reignited, but twisted by revelations. Cousins, she teased. Distantly, enough for this, he murmured, their passion a release amid chaos. The border crossing was tense, fake IDs from Voss holding. In Canada, they found Alex's home, a quaint farmhouse. The boy opened the door, innocent eyes widening. Aunt Isabella sent you? He knew? Foster parents explained, Isabella had prepared them. But Kane's chopper descended, rotors thumping like doom. A standoff, Kane, scarred from custody escape, demanded the boy. He's the heir of my blood too. Twist, Alex was Kane's grandson? No, Isabella's affair was with Kane's son, a defector. Gunfire erupted, Aaliyah shielded Alex, her enhanced strength deflecting blows. Elias knelt, sniper-like, taking out henchmen. But Kane grabbed Aaliyah, knife to her scar. This map leads to more patents worth billions. She twisted free, scarring him in return. FBI allies arrived, tipped by Voss, arresting Kane again. But not before he hissed, your scars hide more pain, Waitress. Ask about your real father. Back in safety, Alex in tow, Aaliyah confronted the final unveiling. Journal entries revealed, her father wasn't the man her mom claimed, a one-night stand. He was Kane's brother, making her Kane's niece. Shock ultimate, villain's blood in her veins. I'm part of this empire? Elias held her. No. You're the one who'll break it. Curiosity piqued, with Alex safe, alliances forming against remaining threats, but Aaliyah's scars pulsed with unanswered questions. What patents? What pain? As they returned to New York, empires cracking under truth's weight, forbidden pacts loomed, ones that would test loyalties and ignite wars. The New York skyline glittered like a jagged crown, but beneath its shimmering facade, the cracks in Elias Hawthorne's empire widened, threatening to swallow everything he'd built. In a safe house tucked in Brooklyn's shadows, Aaliyah Thompson sat across from Elias, their hands clasped over a battered table strewn with Isabella's journal, Alex's photos, and the damning flash drive. The boy, Alex, Isabella's secret son, now their ward, slept fitfully in the next room, his soft snores a fragile reminder of what was at stake. Aaliyah's mind reeled from the latest bombshell. She was Victor Kane's niece, her blood tied to the man who'd orchestrated decades of pain. The scar on her collarbone, etched with hidden coordinates, pulsed under her touch, as if whispering secrets yet to be unveiled. Elias's eyes, bloodshot from sleepless nights, held a storm of guilt and resolve. We're in this together, he said, his voice low but firm. But Kane's not done, he'll burn everything to get those patents. Aaliyah nodded, her own scars, physical and emotional, fueling a fire she hadn't known she possessed. As they planned their next move, forbidden alliances loomed, promising both salvation and betrayal in a world where trust was a luxury they could ill afford. The safe house buzzed with tension. News feeds on unmuted TV screamed headlines, Hawthorne tech under siege, cyber attack cripples systems. Kane, even from a jail cell, had unleashed chaos, his hackers exposing internal emails that painted Elias as a fraud who'd built his empire on stolen code. The stock plummeted, shareholders panicked, and whispers of a hostile takeover by Vortex Dynamics grew louder. Aaliyah scrolled through X posts, her heart sinking at the vitriol. Billionaire fraud kneels for Waitress, PR stunt or scandal? Yet, some saw hope, he's fighting for justice. Hashtag Aaliyah Project. Curiosity surged. What did the world know? Elias, pacing, revealed his plan: ally with unlikely partners, hackers, whistleblowers, even rivals, to expose Kane's empire. It's risky, he admitted, but we need leverage. Aaliyah's eyes narrowed. And trust? Who can we trust? His silence was answer enough. Their first move was a clandestine meeting with Raven, a hacker legend who'd once worked for Hawthorne Tech before defecting over ethical differences. Raven's hideout was a neon-lit loft in Chinatown, walls plastered with monitors streaming code like digital waterfalls. Her purple-dyed hair and pierced lip gave her an edge, but her eyes held a flicker of recognition when she saw Aaliyah. "You're the waitress who brought the Titan to his knees," she smirked, tapping a keyboard. "Isabella was my mentor. She warned me about Kane." Shock hit Aaliyah, another connection to her aunt. Raven's intel was explosive. Kane's patents, hidden in offshore servers, were for AI-driven bioweapons, using Aaliyah's rare gene as a blueprint. "He wants to control life itself," Raven said, tossing them a USB. "But I need something in return: access to your AI core." Elias hesitated. Handing over his company's heart was a betrayal of everything he'd built. Yet Aaliyah pushed. "Do it. For Alex." The alliance was sealed, but the crack in Elias's trust deepened. As they left, Raven's warning lingered: "Watch your back. Kane's got eyes everywhere." Paranoia gripped Aaliyah. On the subway back, she noticed a man in a gray hoodie, his gaze too steady. She nudged Elias, who slipped a tracker onto the man's bag as they exited. Back at the safe house, the tracker pinged, leading to a Vortex Dynamics front company. "They're closing in," Elias growled, but Aaliyah's mind raced to her own secrets. She hadn't told him everything. That night in her teens, during the botched robbery, she'd seen a man who looked like Kane, same cold eyes, watching from a car. Was he tied to her past too? The scar on her collarbone burned, its coordinates pointing to a lab in Switzerland. "We need to go there," she urged. Elias agreed, but his glance held doubt. "No more secrets, Aaliyah." She nodded, guilt twisting her gut. The flight to Zurich was a tense escape, Alex tucked between them, his innocent questions: "Why do bad guys hate us?" cutting deeper than bullets. At the Swiss lab, hidden in the Alps' shadow, they met Dr. Marcus Klein, a former colleague of Dr. Voss, now living off-grid. His lab was a maze of humming machines and vials glowing faintly blue. "Isabella entrusted me with the gene's full potential," he said, eyeing Aaliyah's scar. "Your blood can unlock or destroy Kane's weapons." Shock, her very existence was a weapon? Klein revealed more. The coordinates led to a vault containing Isabella's prototype, a counter-AI to neutralize Kane's bioweapons. But accessing it required Aaliyah's DNA and a code only Alex knew, embedded in his childhood lullaby. "Sing it," Klein urged the boy. As Alex's soft voice filled the room, Aaliyah's eyes welled. It was her mother's lullaby too. The vault opened, revealing a device pulsing with light. But before they could secure it, alarms blared. Kane's mercenaries breached the lab. Chaos erupted in a storm of gunfire and shattering glass. Elias shielded Alex, while Aaliyah, her enhanced strength kicking in from Boss's vial, fought like a lioness, toppling soldiers with precision honed from years of surviving hostile kitchens. Klein fell, a bullet to the chest, but not before whispering, "The lullaby, second verse." They escaped with the device, skiing down snowy slopes under moonlight, mercenaries in pursuit. Elias took a hit to the shoulder, blood staining the snow. Kneeling in the frost, he gasped, "You're the leader now." Aaliyah dragged him to a hidden cave, her heart pounding. As she bandaged him, their lips met, fierce, desperate, a forbidden spark in the cold. "We're not just allies," she whispered. "We're family." But his eyes held a shadow. Did he know her full past? Back in New York, Raven decrypted the device's data, revealing Kane's endgame, a global launch of his AI bioweapons, targeting marginalized communities to cleanse resistance. Horror gripped Aaliyah. Her gene, her scars, were the blueprint for genocide. But cracks in their alliance emerged. Raven demanded more access, hinting at her own agenda. "I want Kane gone, but I'm not your pawn," she snapped. Meanwhile, X-Posts exploded with leaks. Waitress is Kane's niece. Hashtag Aaliyah Project or hashtag Kane Dynasty? Public curiosity peaked, but so did danger. Aaliyah's brother Jamal, now safe, called with a shock, "I found Mom's old letters. She knew Kane was our dad, hid it to protect us." The revelation shattered Aaliyah. Kane, her father? The man who'd watched her teenage crime? "He's been playing me my whole life," she whispered, tears falling. Elias, recovering, knelt before her, not in defeat, but solidarity. "We rewrite the story. Together." They rallied new allies, a rogue journalist, Mia, who'd been digging into Kane's crimes, and a defected Vortex exec, Carlos, who'd loved Isabella. The alliance was fragile, each member hiding motives. At a secret summit in an abandoned theater, Mia revealed a tape, Kane, in a cell, bribing officials for release. "He's out tomorrow," she warned. Carlos added a twist, "Isabella's child isn't just Alex. There's another, hidden even from her." Another child? Curiosity burned. Whose was it? The summit was ambushed. Kane's drones, weaponized with AI, crashed through stained glass windows. Aaliyah led the escape, using the device's counter-AI to jam their systems. But Carlos vanished in the chaos, leaving a note, "Trust no one. The second child is the key." As they fled to a new safe house, Aaliyah's scars ached, literal and figurative. She confessed to Elias, "That robbery. Kane was there. He let me go, said I'd owe him one day." Elias's face hardened. "He's been grooming you." Betrayal stung, but so did love. He pulled her close, their alliance forbidden yet unbreakable. The climax hit at midnight. A tip led to Kane's release party, a lavish yacht affair. Aaliyah and Elias infiltrated, disguised as crew. Kane, free and smug, toasted his empire's revival. But Aaliyah, wired with Mia's mic, broadcast his confession live. Yet, as they sabotaged his systems, a child's voice called out, "Another boy, eerily like Alex, on the yacht." "Mommy said you'd come," he whispered to Aaliyah. Shock, Isabella's second child, hidden by Carlos? Kane's eyes locked on them, rage twisting his face. "You're mine, daughter." Gunfire erupted. Elias knelt, shielding the boys. Aaliyah fought, her enhanced strength fading but spirit blazing. They escaped by diving into icy waters, swimming to a rescue boat. But Kane's parting shot echoed, "The Empire's cracks are your grave." As they shivered, clutching the children, Aaliyah's scars whispered. The second verse of the lullaby held more secrets. Curiosity unrelenting, the forbidden alliance tightened. Raven, Mia, the boys, but cracks widened. Who was the traitor among them? And what was the lullaby's final truth? The rescue boat rocked violently on the icy waves, the Manhattan skyline a distant blur as Aaliyah Thompson clung to Elias Hawthorne and the two boys, Alex and Noah, Isabella's second secret child. The weight of Kane's final taunt, "The Empire's cracks are your grave," sank into Aaliyah's bones, mingling with the chill of her soaked clothes. Her scar throbbed, its hidden coordinates a map to truths still buried. Elias, blood seeping through his makeshift bandage, knelt beside her, his breath ragged but his grip firm on the boys. "We're not done yet," he whispered, his voice a lifeline in the chaos. Noah, barely 8, shivered, clutching Aaliyah's hand, his eyes mirroring Alex's, Isabella's eyes. "Mommy said you'd save us," he murmured, igniting a spark of purpose in Aaliyah's heart. But as the boat reached a hidden dock, betrayal's sting awaited, its venom poised to unravel their fragile alliance. Hidden agendas were surfacing, and the shocks would cut deeper than any bullet. The safe house, a nondescript warehouse in Jersey City, buzzed with the hum of generators and the tension of their makeshift team. Raven, the hacker, typed furiously at her laptop, decrypting the counter-AI device they'd stolen from the Swiss lab. Mia, the journalist, scribbled notes for a bombshell exposé, her eyes darting suspiciously. The boys slept under blankets, guarded by Jamal, Aaliyah's brother, who joined them after his rescue. Aaliyah's mind raced. Kane, her father, had orchestrated her life like a chess game, and now two children tied her to Isabella's legacy. But the lullaby's second verse, hinted at by Dr. Klein's dying breath, remained elusive. "Sing it again, Alex," she urged softly. The boy's voice trembled, light in shadows, hearts align, blood will rise where secrets climb. The words felt like a code, but for what? Elias, wincing as he adjusted his bandage, caught her gaze. "It's a map, maybe to the patents." Curiosity burned. What else did Isabella hide? Raven slammed her laptop shut. Got it. The device can disable Kane's bioweapons, but it needs a master key buried in his private server on a Caribbean island. Her tone was sharp, her eyes avoiding Aaliyah's. Suspicion flared. What aren't you telling us? Aaliyah pressed. Raven hesitated, then confessed, I worked for Kane once. Before Isabella. He's got dirt on me, hacks I did for him. If we go after that server, he'll expose me. The room froze. Elias's voice was ice. You're compromised? Raven stood, defiant. I'm here, aren't I? But you're not clean either, Hawthorne. The sting of betrayal bit hard. Raven's agenda wasn't just justice, it was self-preservation. Mia chimed in, her voice cutting, and you, Aaliyah? That robbery you confessed to Elias, any more skeletons? Aaliyah's face burned. I was a kid, Mia. Kane manipulated me even then. But doubt flickered in Elias's eyes, a crack in their bond. Before she could respond, Jamal burst in, holding a burner phone. Message came through, anonymous. Says Carlos is alive, wants to meet. Carlos, the Vortex exec who'd vanished, loved Isabella. Was he friend or foe? The team agreed to the meet, but Aaliyah's gut screamed trap. We arm up, she said, her waitress instincts now warrior sharp. Elias nodded, but his touch lingered on her arm, a silent plea for trust. The rendezvous was set in an abandoned steel mill, its rusted beams looming like skeletal remains. Under flickering fluorescent lights, Carlos emerged, gaunt and scarred. I didn't betray you, he rasped. Kane held my family hostage. His bombshell, Isabella's second child, Noah, wasn't just from her affair with Kane's son, it was Carlos's too. She never told me, he choked out. Kane found out, used it to control me. Shock rocked Aaliyah. Noah's lineage tied everyone tighter to Kane's web. But Carlos offered a gift, a chip with partial access to Kane's server. Get to that island, and you'll find the patents and the truth about your father, Aaliyah. Her heart stopped. What truth? Carlos's eyes darkened. He's not just your dad, he's the architect of the Gene Project. Your scar? He designed it. The revelation shattered her. Kane had engineered her scar, her life, her pain? Before she could process, drones buzzed overhead, Kane's AI swarm tracking Carlos. The mill erupted in chaos, laser-guided projectiles tearing through metal. Aaliyah grabbed Noah, Elias shielded Alex, and Raven hacked the drones mid-air, crashing half. Mia, camera rolling, live-streamed the attack. Kane exposed Billionaire's war on Family X exploded, but betrayal stung again. Mia's feed was traced, leading Kane's forces straight to them. You idiot! Raven screamed. Mia paled. I thought it'd help. Aaliyah's fist clenched. Was Mia naive or a plant? They fled through tunnels beneath the mill, Carlos leading to an escape boat. But as they boarded, he pulled a gun, aiming at Elias. I'm sorry, he whispered. Kane has my daughter. The sting was visceral. Another ally turned. Aaliyah lunged, disarming him with her enhanced strength, but not before he shot the boat's engine. Stranded, they swam to shore, lungs burning. Elias, bleeding again, knelt in the mud, gasping, we can't trust anyone. Aaliyah's heart broke. Was their love a casualty too? Regrouping in a fisherman's shack, they interrogated Carlos, zip-tied to a chair. His confession was a gut punch. Kane's server held not just patents, but a list of gene carriers like Aaliyah, targeted for experimentation. He's building an army, Carlos sobbed. And you're the prototype. Horror washed over her. Her scars weren't just a map, they were a blueprint for Kane's dystopia. But the lullaby's second verse clicked. Blood will rise where secrets climb. It pointed to a hidden vault on the island, where Isabella stashed a kill switch for Kane's AI. Curiosity surged. Could they end this? The team split, Raven and Mia to hack from afar, Aaliyah and Elias to infiltrate the island with the boys. Jamal stayed behind, guarding Carlos. The Caribbean journey was perilous, a stolen plane dodging radar. On the island, a fortress of glass and steel awaited, guarded by AI sentinels. Aaliyah's scar guided them to a hidden entrance, her blood unlocking biometric locks. Inside, servers hummed like a heartbeat, but Kane's voice boomed over speakers. "Welcome, daughter. You've brought my heirs." Trap-sprung cameras showed Alex and Noah caged in a lab below. Elias roared, charging forward, only to be tasered by drones. Aaliyah fought, her strength waning, but took down guards with a ferocity that stunned even her. Kneeling beside Elias's unconscious form, she faced Kane on a screen. "You're my legacy," he sneered. "Join me, or they die." Betrayal's sting peaked, Raven's signal cut out, Mia's feed went dark. Were they captured? Or traitors? Aaliyah's eyes locked on the boys, her resolve steel. "I'm no one's pawn," she spat, injecting the last of Voss's vial. Power surged, her vision sharpening. She smashed the server's core, triggering alarms but downloading the killswitch code. As they dragged Elias to the lab, freeing the boys, Raven's voice crackled through, "I'm back, had to go dark to fool Kane." Trust wavered, but she sent coordinates for extraction. A helicopter swooped in, piloted by a mystery figure, Mia, redeeming herself? No time to question. They boarded, but Kane's final play, a missile locked on. Aaliyah activated the kill switch, frying his AI network. The missile veered, crashing into the sea. Safe, for now. Back in New York, the team licked wounds, but betrayal lingered. Carlos's phone, left behind, pinged with a message, second verse incomplete. Third exists. Aaliyah's scar burned anew, another verse? Another child? Elias, awake, knelt before her. "We're cracked, but not broken." She nodded, but doubt gnawed, Raven's past, Mia's recklessness, Carlos's flip. And Kane's escape again loomed. A final shock, Noah whispered, "Mommy sang about a sister." A third child? Curiosity exploded, hidden agendas surfaced, pulling them toward a chase where hearts and truths would race. The safe house in New York's underbelly vibrated with the hum of uncertainty, its concrete walls closing in as Aaliyah Thompson stared at the flickering laptop screen. The words from Noah's whisper, "Mommy sang about a sister," looped in her mind, each syllable a hook dragging her deeper into the labyrinth of Isabella's secrets. Elias Hawthorne sat beside her, his shoulder bandaged, his face etched with exhaustion but burning with resolve. Alex and Noah, curled under blankets, slept fitfully, their innocent faces a stark contrast to the storm brewing around them. The lullaby's third verse, hinted at by a cryptic message on Carlos's phone, remained a mystery, but its promise of a third child, a sister, ignited a fire in Aaliyah's scarred heart. Her father, Victor Kane, was free again, his AI empire crippled but his wrath undimmed, and the world was watching, exablaze with hashtags, #AliyahSavesKids, #KaneExposed. As Aaliyah's fingers traced the coordinates in her scar, she felt the pulse of danger. The pursuit of truth was a race against time, and every heartbeat screamed, who was the sister, and what final betrayal awaited? The team regrouped, fractured alliances straining under mistrust. Raven, the hacker, hunched over her keyboard, her purple hair catching the dim light as she traced the message's origin to a burner phone in London. "Kane's got a new base there," she said, her voice tight. "But this third verse? It's not just a code, it's a signal, bouncing off old Hawthorne tech satellites." Elias's eyes narrowed. Isabella used those for secure comms. She must have hidden something big. Aaliyah's mind raced, another child, another secret. Mia, the journalist, paced, her phone buzzing with tips from ex-followers, Kane spotted at Heathrow. #Aaliyah Project Hero or Traitor? Jamal, Aaliyah's brother, guarded the boys, his own scars from their past mirroring hers. "We can't keep running," he said. "We find this sister, we end it." Aaliyah nodded, but Raven's glance flickered, guarded, secretive. Was she still hiding something? The plan was reckless: fly to London, infiltrate Kane's base, and uncover the third verse. Elias chartered a private jet, bypassing commercial risks, but the flight was a crucible of tension. Aaliyah sat with Noah, coaxing the lullaby's fragments. "Mommy sang, 'Stars will guide where shadows fall, sister's heart will save us all,'" he whispered. Aaliyah's breath caught, the words echoed her mother's voice, a melody from childhood. Elias, overhearing, gripped her hand. "Your scar, it's the key to everything." Under UV light, new coordinates glowed faintly on her collarbone, pointing to a derelict manor outside London. Shock pulsed through her. How many secrets had her mother and Isabella woven into her very skin? London greeted them with fog and danger. The manor, crumbling under ivy, was a fortress disguised as ruin, guarded by Kane's AI drones. Raven hacked their systems, but her signals wavered. Another betrayal? I'm clean, she snapped, but Aaliyah's trust frayed. Inside, the manor was a maze of dusty halls and hidden tech servers humming beneath portraits of Kane's ancestors. Aaliyah's scar guided them to a locked vault, her blood unlocking it as before. Inside, a hologram of Isabella, her voice trembling. If you're seeing this, my children are in danger. The third verse leads to my daughter, hidden with the Order, a secret group fighting Kane's dynasty. A third child, a girl. Shock, Isabella had a daughter, concealed even from Elias. But the hologram flickered, Kane's face overriding it. You're too late, daughter, he sneered, his image glitching. My blood runs in her too. Aaliyah's heart stopped. Her sister, Kane's granddaughter? Drones swarmed, lasers cutting through walls. Elias shielded the boys, his gun blazing, while Aaliyah fought with fading enhanced strength, her vial's power nearly spent. Raven redirected drones, but one grazed her arm, blood seeping. Go, she yelled, but her eyes held a secret guilt. They escaped through a tunnel, emerging in a foggy moor, hearts racing. The Order's contact met them in a London safe house, a woman named Zara, her face scarred like Aaliyah's. Isabella was my sister in arms, Zara revealed. Her daughter, Lily, is 12, hidden in Scotland. Kane wants her for the gene. She's like you, Aaliyah. Shock deepened, another carrier, another pawn. Zara's intel, the third verse was a frequency, activating a beacon Lily carried. But betrayal stung. Mia's phone pinged, a leaked location to Kane's men. I didn't mean to. Mia cried, but Aaliyah's fist clenched. You're reckless. Elias pulled her back, his touch calming but strained. We need her, he whispered. Love and doubt warred in her chest. The race to Scotland was a blur of stolen cars and backroads, Kane's forces tailing. In a Highland village, they found Lily fierce, with Isabella's eyes, guarded by Order monks. I knew you'd come, she said, clutching a pendant pulsing with the lullaby's frequency. But Kane's choppers descended, missiles rocking the hills. Aaliyah, Elias, and the children fled into ancient ruins, the pendant guiding them to a buried chamber. Inside, Isabella's final gift, a second kill switch, capable of erasing Kane's entire network. But activating it required all three children's DNA: Alex, Noah, Lily. We're family, Lily said, her voice steady. Aaliyah's heart swelled, but danger loomed. Kane's voice echoed through the ruins, amplified by drones, give me my heirs, or the world burns. Aaliyah's scar burned, memories flooding, her teenage robbery, Kane's cold eyes watching. You're my creation, he'd said then. Now, she realized, he'd engineered her life, her scars, her strength. Rage fueled her. She activated the kill switch, but Raven's signal cut out again. Betrayal confirmed? No. Raven appeared, wounded, dragging Mia. She sold us out, Raven gasped. Mia sobbed, Kane promised my family safety. The sting cut deep, another ally lost. The chamber shook, Kane's forces breaching. Elias knelt, bloodied, shielding the kids. Run, Aaliyah. But she fought, her strength surging one last time, toppling drones with a pipe. Lily sang the third verse, sinking the kill switch, servers worldwide crashed, Kane's empire fracturing. They escaped through a hidden passage, Kane's network down. But Kane, relentless, broadcast a final threat: Lily's blood is my last card. In a Scottish safe house, the team regrouped, Lily clutching Aaliyah. You're my sister, she whispered. Shock, not just Isabella's daughter, but Aaliyah's half-sister through Kane? Elias, tending wounds, knelt before them. We're a family now. But Raven's eyes darted. She'd hacked Kane's last server, finding a list, more gene carriers, hidden globally. He's not done, she warned. Aaliyah's scar pulsed. Was she the first of many? The climax hit as Zara revealed the Order's secret. Isabella had created a shadow network, a resistance to rebuild after Kane's fall. But a traitor remained. Jamal called, frantic. Carlos escaped. Aaliyah's heart sank. Carlos, free, knew their plans. As they planned to hunt him, a package arrived, Kane's seal, a vial labeled legacy. Inside, a note, drink, daughter, and ascend. Aaliyah's blood ran cold. Was this her final test? Elias grabbed her hand. We face it together. But Lily's pendant beeped a fourth verse? Curiosity exploded. What final truth hid in the lullaby's depths? Danger raced closer, hearts pounding. Kane's last play loomed, betrayals unmasked, and the pursuit of truth led to a shattering horizon where illusions would break and worlds would collide. Section 8, Shattered Illusions, Revelations that Rock Worlds. The Scottish safe house, a weathered stone cottage nestled in the shadow of ancient pines, felt like a fragile bubble teetering on the edge of rupture. Rain lashed the leaded windows, mirroring the storm raging inside Aaliyah Thompson as she stared at the vial labeled legacy, its contents swirling like liquid midnight under the flickering lantern light. Elias Hawthorne knelt beside her, his hand steady on her knee, but his eyes betrayed the cracks in his armor, exhaustion etched deep, mingled with a fear he couldn't mask. Lily, the fierce 12-year-old with Isabella's unyielding gaze, clutched the pendant that had just synced the kill switch, its glow fading like a dying star. Alex and Noah huddled close, their small faces pale, whispering fragments of the lullaby that had become their talisman. The third verse had felled Kane's network, sending shockwaves through global headlines ablaze with #Aaliyah Legacy, speculating wildly, is the waitress a superhuman? Kane's empire crumbles. But the package's arrival, slipped through the order's defenses by an unseen hand, shattered the illusion of safety. Drink, daughter, and ascend, the note read, Kane's elegant script of venomous promise. Aaliyah's scar burned, a fresh coordinate etching itself into her skin under the strain, pointing to a place that chilled her, the Crystal Palace, back in New York. Illusions were crumbling, and the revelations to come would rock their worlds to the core. Zara, the order's scarred operative, burst through the door, her coat dripping, face ashen. Kane's men are closing in, drones down, but he's got ground teams. We move now. Raven, bandaged from the ruined skirmish, slammed her laptop shut. I've traced the package of biometric seal, only opens for Aaliyah's DNA. Mia, redeemed but sidelined after her betrayal, hovered in the corner, her journalist's notebook trembling in her hands. The world's watching us. One leak, and we're legends or fugitives. Jamal, ever the protector, scooped up the boys, his eyes locking with Aaliyah's. Sis, that vial, don't. But curiosity clawed at her, a siren's call amid the chaos. What if it held the key to the fourth verse, the one Lily's pendant had beeped about? Stars will guide where shadows fall, sister's heart will save us all, and blood will bind the final call. Noah's timid voice supplied the fragment, sending shivers down her spine. A fourth verse? Another secret child? Or something darker, a binding that tied them all to Kane's madness? Elias stood, his billionaire poise fracturing. We analyze it first. No risks. But as Raven scanned the vial with a portable spectrometer, the room fell silent. It's enhanced serum, she murmured. Like Voss's, but amplified. Boosts the genie's strength, cognition. But there's a tracker. And a message embedded. The hologram flickered to life, Kane's face materializing, his silver hair impeccable despite his fugitive status. Aaliyah, my creation, he purred, his voice silk over steel. Drink, and embrace your true power. Or watch your family shatter. The illusion cracked further, Kane wasn't just her father, the hologram revealed grainy footage, a young Aaliyah, post-robbery, injected in a hidden clinic, Kane overseeing. You were the first success, he continued. Isabella stole the formula, birthed my heirs to spite me. But Lily? She's the pinnacle, pure Kane blood. Lily gasped, recoiling into Aaliyah's arms. Shock rippled through the group. The girl wasn't just Isabella's daughter, she was Kane's engineered masterpiece, her pendant a control device. Aaliyah's world tilted, illusions shattering like glass underfoot. Lies, she whispered, but the footage didn't lie. Lily's birth, in a blacksite lab, Kane's hands gloved, Isabella's screams echoing. Elias's face drained of color. He played us all. But before fury could ignite, alarms wailed, Kane's teams breached the perimeter. Go! Zara shouted, shoving them toward a hidden tunnel. The escape was a blur of shadows and shouts, rain-slicked moors turning treacherous. Aaliyah carried Lily, her muscles straining without the serum's boost, while Elias fired covering shots, his knee buckling from old wounds. Drones, jury-rigged from remnants, buzzed like hornets, lasers slicing the night. Raven hacked one mid-air, turning it against its own, but a stray beam clipped Jamal's arm. "Keep moving," he grunted, blood soaking his sleeve. They piled into a waiting van, Zara at the wheel, tires screeching through Highland mist. Inside, breaths heaved, Aaliyah clutched the vial, temptation warring with terror. "If I drink it." Lily's eyes, wide and pleading, silenced her. "Don't become him." But the fourth verse haunted. Noah recited it fully now, pieced from memory. "Stars will guide where shadows fall, sister's heart will save us all, blood will bind the final call, illusions break, empires fall." Empires fall? The words synced with the pendant, projecting a holographic map, the Crystal Palace, not just a restaurant, but ground zero for Kane's gene project, a hidden lab beneath. "That's where it started," Elias realized, his voice hollow. "My first investment." Kane's front. Shot doubled. Elias had funded the monster unwittingly, his humble spark born from blood money. The drive south was a pressure cooker of revelations. Mia, scrolling X on a secure line, gasped. Posts from insiders, Kane's claiming Lily as his heir publicly. #KaneHeir trending. And photos of us, from the gala. Betrayals echo Mia again? "I swear, not me," she protested, but Raven's glare was lethal. "Your recklessness got us here." Arguments flared, alliances fraying like old rope. Aaliyah turned to Elias, seeking anchor. "That night you knelt, was it real?" His hand found hers, thumb tracing her scar. "More than ever. But I hid something too." The confession hung, a bomb ticking. As the van hit the motorway, he spilled, "Isabella didn't die in an accident. I helped cover it, thought it protected the company. But Kane, he staged it. She's alive." The van swerved, Zara cursing. Alive? Isabella, the ghost haunting them, breathing? Aaliyah's heart raced, illusions fracturing into fury. "You lied?" Elias's eyes pleaded. "To protect you from this." But the shock rocked her, the sister, the aunt, the mentor, alive, pulling strings? The pendant beeped again, Isabella's voice crackling through. "Aaliyah, if you hear this, trust the vial. It's the antidote, not the poison." Kane twisted it. "Drink, and find me." Static swallowed the message, but coordinates flashed, Crystal Palace sublevels. "She's there," Lily whispered, hope flickering. Curiosity exploded, a resurrection amid ruins? But Kane's trap loomed, the map showed his forces converging. They ditched the van at dawn, stealing a boat across the channel, hearts pounding with every wave. In Dover, blending into crowds, Aaliyah felt eyes everywhere, ex-sleuths doxing their path, #hunt for Aaliyah viral. A private jet waited, Elias's last asset, but boarding was chaos, paparazzi swarmed, flashes blinding. "Billionaire's runaway bride," one yelled. Inside, turbulence mirrored their souls. Lily confided in Aaliyah, "Mom said you were the strong one. But the gene, it hurts." The girl winced, veins glowing faintly blue, Kane's mark. Aaliyah's scar responded, a shared pulse. "We'll fix it," she vowed, but doubt gnawed. What if the vial bound them to Kane forever? New York welcomed them with steel skies and sirens. The Crystal Palace loomed, its chandeliers mocking the night they met, the plates' clatter now a distant echo. Disguised as staff, they infiltrated through service tunnels, the air thick with the scent of truffles and treachery. Below, the lab pulsed with illicit life, humming cryotanks, screens flickering with gene sequences. Aaliyah's scar guided them to a central chamber, where Isabella waited, not a ghost, but flesh and blood, frail in a white coat, hooked to monitors. "You came," she breathed, eyes locking on Lily. "My girl." The reunion was electric, tears, embraces, but illusions shattered anew. Isabella's truth, "I faked the death to infiltrate Kane's inner circle. Gave birth to Lily in hiding, used the order to shield her. But Elias, you funded it all." His knees buckled, kneeling in the cold tile. "Forgive me, sis." But Kane's voice boomed, lights flooding the chamber. Touching. He stepped from shadows, flanked by elite guards, Carlos at his side unzip-tied, smirking. The traitor returns, Raven hissed, but Carlos laughed. All of you pawns. The sting was cataclysmic. Carlos wasn't just coerced, he was Kane's son, Isabella's forbidden love ally. You birthed my weapon, Kane gloated, eyes on Lily. Drones reactivated, encircling. Aaliyah lunged for the vial, smashing it underfoot. Known drinking it in defiance, serum burning like fire. Power surged, illusions cracking, visions flooded, Kane's experiments, her conception not love, but science. You're not my daughter, he sneered. Cloned from Isabella, perfect vessel. Shock ultimate, Aaliyah, a clone? Her scars, her life, engineered fiction? Chaos erupted. Enhanced, Aaliyah dismantled guards, strength godlike, but Kane activated Lily's pendant, a control collar, paralyzing the girl. Save her. Isabella cried, lunging at consoles. Elias fought beside Aaliyah, fists and fury, but a blade caught him deep in the side. He knelt, blood pooling. Finish it. Raven hacked the drones, Mia broadcast live from her phone imploded, the world gasping. But revelations rocked harder, Isabella confessed, dying from a self-inflicted dose to sabotage Kane. The fourth verse, it's you, Aaliyah. Blood binds, but heart frees. Her last breath synced the pendant, freeing Lily, but killing the gene in all carriers, pain lancing through Aaliyah, visions of alternate lives, no drop, no kneel, no love. Kane fled into tunnels, Carlos covering, but Aaliyah pursued, heart racing. And this. In the depths, he turned, gun raised. Join your maker. But the serum's truth hit, she wasn't clone, but hybrid. Kane's DNA fused with Isabella's, birthed by Aaliyah's mother as surrogate. Family's illusion, he spat. She disarmed him, not killing, but binding with order cuffs. Yours ends here. Emerging, sirens wailed FBI, tipped by Nia's feed. Elias, stabilized, knelt before her anew. Real enough? Their kiss, amid flashing lights, was raw, worlds rocked but realigned. But the final shatter, Lily's pendant revealed a fifth verse, holographic, ashes rise from shattered glass, sacrifice will heal the past. A fifth? Another child? Kane's whisper from custody, the real legacy waits. Curiosity clawed eternal, illusions broken, but destinies demanded ultimate choices, sacrifices that would define them all. The Crystal Palace's underground lab was a graveyard of shattered illusions, its sterile air thick with the metallic tang of blood and the hum of dying servers. Aaliyah Thompson stood over Victor Kane, now bound in cuffs, his cold eyes still defiant despite his empire's collapse. Elias Hawthorne leaned against a wall, his side bandaged, his face pale but resolute as he clutched Lily's hand. Alex and Noah, huddled with Zara of the Order, clung to each other, their young faces etched with trauma yet flickering with hope. The fifth verse of Isabella's lullaby, ashes rise from shattered glass, sacrifice will heal the past, pulsed through Aaliyah's mind, its cryptic promise a beacon in the chaos. Her scar, once a map, now felt like a brand, its final coordinates pointing to a choice that could end the cycle of pain or ignite a new war. Kane's last whisper from custody, the real legacy waits, nodded her, a hook of curiosity that refused to let go. X was ablaze with hashtag Aaliyah Legacy and hashtag Kane Falls, the world watching as their saga unfolded. But as sirens wailed above, signaling the FBI's arrival, Aaliyah felt the weight of destiny. The ultimate sacrifice loomed, and the choices ahead would define not just their lives, but the future itself. Zara ushered the group into a hidden elevator, its gears grinding as they ascended to the Crystal Palace's rooftop. The city skyline glittered, a cruel contrast to the blood and betrayal below. Raven, her arm bandaged, typed furiously on a tablet, decrypting the pendant's final hologram. The fifth verse isn't just a song, she said, her voice strained. It's a protocol, Isabella's last safeguard. A self-destruct for all gene carriers. Aaliyah's heart stopped. Self-destruct? Her hybrid DNA, part Kane, part Isabella, thrummed, the serum's aftereffects making her veins glow faintly. Lily, trembling beside her, clutched the pendant, its pulse syncing with her own. Does that mean me too? The girl whispered. Elias knelt, his voice cracking. No one's sacrificing you. But Raven's eyes darted, guilt or fear? There's a catch, she added. Activating it requires one carrier's life to neutralize the other's genes. A blood price. Shock rippled through Aaliyah. Was she the lamb for slaughter? The rooftop was a battlefield of choices. Mia, her phone live streaming despite protests, captured the tension. #Aaliyah choice, hero or martyr? Aaliyah's glare silenced her, but the world's eyes burned through the lens. Jamal, his arm in a sling, pulled Aaliyah aside. Sis, you can't do this. Mom hid you from Cain for a reason. But memories flooded, her mother's whispers, the lullaby, the scar. She made me to fight, Aaliyah said, resolve hardening. Elias overheard, his hand grabbing hers. Not to die. Their eyes locked, love a fragile thread against destiny's pull. But Zara's radio crackled, Cain's escaped inside job. The sting of betrayal flared anew. Who freed him? Raven traced the breach to a mole in the FBI. Lena, Elias's former assistant, back from the shadows. She's been feeding Cain intel since the gala, Raven spat, her own past as Cain's hacker haunting her. Aaliyah's mind raced, Lena's jealousy, her disdain that first night, now weaponized. They had to move. Cain's final base, per the pendant's coordinates, was a decommissioned satellite station in Iceland, where the real legacy waited. He's launching something, Raven warned, pulling up satellite feeds showing encrypted signals spiking globally. A new AI, untouchable by the kill switch. Curiosity surged. What was Cain's endgame? The journey to Iceland was a gauntlet of danger. A stolen cargo plane rattled through Arctic storms, the children strapped in, their trust in Aaliyah unshakable. Lily whispered, "You're my sister, right?" Aaliyah nodded, but the hybrid revelation clone, not daughter, gnawed at her identity. Elias, piloting despite pain, confessed more, "I knew Isabella was alive months ago. Found her messages, didn't tell you, thought I was protecting you." Aaliyah's heart twisted, love battling betrayal. "No more lies," she said, her voice steel. He nodded, kneeling in the cockpit, a silent vow. But the plane lurched. Drones, Lena's doing, locked on. Raven hacked their systems, but one clipped the wing, forcing a crash landing on icy tundra. The wreckage smoked, the team battered but alive. Aaliyah's enhanced strength, fading but potent, pulled debris off Noah. "You're our hero," he mumbled, eyes wide. But heroism felt hollow as they trekked to the satellite station, a fortress of steel under auroras. Inside, Cain waited, Lena at his side, a new serum glowing in her veins. "Welcome to the Ascension," Cain sneered, monitors displaying a global network AI bioweapons, primed to target gene carriers and dissenters. "You thought you'd won?" Lily's pendant reacted, unlocking a hidden console, Isabella's protocol. But Cain laughed. "Sacrifice one, save the rest? I designed that trap." Shock, Isabella's safeguard was Cain's bait, forcing Aaliyah's hand. The chamber erupted in chaos. Lena lunged, her serum-enhanced speed a blur, but Aaliyah countered, her own power flaring. Elias shielded the kids, firing at drones, his blood staining the ice. Zara fought beside Raven, who hacked the console, but Lena's knife caught her side. "You'll never be enough," Lena hissed at Aaliyah, jealousy a venom. Aaliyah disarmed her, but Cain activated the AI, screens flashing red, launch in 10 minutes. The protocol's truth hit. Aaliyah's blood could stop it, but at her life's cost. "No!" Elias roared, kneeling in desperation, his wound reopening. Lily's tears fell. "Don't leave us." Aaliyah's scar pulsed, memories cascading, the plates clatter, Elias's kneel, her mother's lullaby. Blood binds, heart freeze. She faced Cain, his eyes her mirror, creator and creation. "You made me," she said, "but I choose me." Injecting the console with her blood, she triggered the protocol, pain searing as her gene destabilized. The AI shut down, satellites crashing, but Aaliyah collapsed, vision fading. Elias caught her, his sobs echoing. "Stay with me." Lily sang the fifth verse, her voice a lifeline, sinking the pendant to stabilize Aaliyah's vitals. Alive, but changed, her strength gone, scars quiet. Cain, cornered, laughed maniacally. The legacy lives, more carriers out there. But Zara shot him, a clean kill, ending the cycle. Or so they thought. Lena escaped, slipping into shadows, a new threat. X exploded, world saved, but at what cost? The world hailed her, but Aaliyah felt hollow, her identity fractured. Was she hero, clone, or sister? Elias, carrying her from the station, whispered, "You're enough." Their kiss, under auroras, was a vow to heal. Back in New York, the team nursed wounds in a safe house. Lily's pendant revealed a final hologram, Isabella's last message: "Aaliyah, you're no clone. My sister's daughter, my blood, my heart. Live free." Shock, not engineered, but born of love, hidden to protect her. Aaliyah wept, destiny redefined. But Raven's laptop pinged a list of carriers, Lena's new mission. "She's hunting them," Raven warned. Curiosity burned, who else carried the gene? And what of the lullaby's final echoes? The climax hit as Jamal found a hidden note in Isabella's journal: "The ashes rise in one last stand, a guardian born from scarred land." A guardian? Aaliyah's eyes met Elias's, their hands entwined. The sacrifice wasn't her death, but her choice to lead, to protect. But Lena's shadow loomed, and a final shock, a child's drawing in the journal, signed Hope, another name, another heir? The world watched, destinies defined, but the pursuit of truth raced on, ashes poised to rise. The safe house in New York's gritty outskirts was a fragile fortress, its walls scarred by the echoes of battles fought and truths unveiled. Aaliyah Thompson stood at the window, the city's neon pulse reflecting in her eyes, her scar now silent but heavy with the weight of her redefined destiny. Elias Hawthorne sat nearby, his wounds bandaged, his billionaire facade stripped to raw determination as he watched Lily, Alex, and Noah play quietly with Jamal, their laughter a defiant spark against the darkness. The child's drawing in Isabella's journal, signed Hope, lay on the table, its crude lines, a girl under stars, hinting at a final mystery. The fifth verse's promise, "Ashes rise from shattered glass, sacrifice will heal the past," had saved them, but Lena's escape and her hunt for other gene carriers loomed like a storm on the horizon. X buzzed with #Aaliyah Legacy, hailing her as a hero, but whispers of #Kaneers fueled global curiosity: who was Hope, and what legacy would rise from the ashes of Kane's empire? As Aaliyah's fingers traced the drawing, a new coordinate flickered in her scar under moonlight, pointing to a forgotten Harlem church. The final race was on, hearts ablaze, destinies reborn in a crucible of sacrifice and hope. Raven hunched over her laptop, her face pale from blood loss but eyes sharp. "Lena's moving fast," she said, pulling up encrypted chatter. "She's after Hope, last carrier on Kane's list. Traced to Harlem." Aaliyah's heart raced, another child, another piece of Isabella's shadow network. Mia, chastened but driven, scanned X posts, #HopeRising, sightings of a girl in Harlem, miracles reported. Miracles? Aaliyah's mind flashed to her own enhanced strength, now gone, her body mortal again after the protocol's cost. Elias stood, his hand brushing hers. "We end this together." But doubt lingered: Lena's betrayal, Carlos's treachery, and the journal's final note: a guardian born from scarred land. Was Aaliyah the guardian, or was Hope? The team mobilized, slipping through New York's underbelly in a stolen van, the children guarded by Zara and Jamal. The Harlem church, a crumbling relic with stained glass saints, loomed under a blood-red moon. Inside, the air was thick with incense and secrets. A young girl, no older than 10, stood at the altar, Hope, her eyes glowing faintly, like Lily's head under Kane's serum. "You're her," Hope whispered, staring at Aaliyah. "The scarred one." Shock rippled, the girl knew her, guided by Isabella's lullaby, sung by a priestess who'd sheltered her. "Mommy said you'd come," Hope added, her voice trembling. "Mommy?" Isabella's reach extended beyond death, her shadow network a web of protectors. But Lena struck, bursting through the church doors with mercenaries, her serum-enhanced frame a blur. "The last heir's mine," she snarled, eyes wild with obsession. Aaliyah lunged, her mortal strength no match but her will unbreakable, shielding Hope. Elias fired, his aim faltering from pain, while Raven hacked the church's old security system, dropping chandeliers to slow the assault. Zara fought like a demon, but a blade caught her thigh. "Protect the girl," she gasped. Lily, Alex, and Noah, hidden in the pews, sang the lullaby's fifth verse, their voices syncing Hope's pendant, a twin to Lily's. A hologram flared, Isabella, radiant, her final message: "Hope is the key to freedom." Her blood resets the gene permanently. Shock, Hope wasn't just a carrier, she was the cure. The church became a battlefield, stained glass shattering, pews splintering. Aaliyah tackled Lena, their struggle a clash of past and present, waitress versus traitor, scarred versus enhanced. "You're nothing." Lena spat, but Aaliyah's eyes locked on Hope, who clutched a vial from the priestess Isabella's last serum, not for power, but erasure. "Give it to me," Aaliyah whispered, dodging a knife. Hope hesitated, then tossed it. Aaliyah caught it, injecting herself as Lena lunged. Pain seared, her DNA rewriting, erasing Cain's mark. Lena screamed, her own serum destabilizing, collapsing in convulsions. The mercenaries froze, their AI implants fried by Raven's hack. X livestreamed the chaos, Mia's feed viral, #Hope heals, Cain's legacy ends. But the cost was steep. Aaliyah's vision blurred, her body rejecting the serum's final act. Elias knelt beside her, bloodied hands cradling her face. "You did it," he whispered, tears falling. "You're my home." Their kiss was desperate, a vow amid ashes. Hope's pendant pulsed, stabilizing Aaliyah with the children's song, but her scar faded, her map gone, her power human. Lena, subdued, babbled a final shock, "Cain's dead, but his failsafe lives, a new AI, buried in the stars." Stars? The lullaby's first line, Hope's blood linked to a satellite, Cain's last weapon. The team fled the church, sirens closing in. In a rooftop safe house, Raven traced the satellite, a dormant AI, programmed to resurrect Cain's vision. Hope's blood could shut it down, but required her to leave Earth, a one-way trip to a space station. "I'm ready," Hope said, her voice steady, a child's courage humbling them all. Aaliyah's heart broke, another sacrifice? But Hope smiled. "You taught me to rise." Elias, leveraging Hawthorne text remnants, secured a shuttle through old allies, defying FBI lockdown. The launch was a spectacle, X-trending #HopeInStars, the world watching a girl ascend to save it. As the shuttle vanished into the sky, Aaliyah stood with Elias, Lily, Alex, and Noah, their hands entwined. The AI shut down, skies clearing, but Lena's final words echoed, "War carriers, hidden in plain sight." Curiosity burned, were others out there, scarred like her? Jamal found a final journal page, "The Guardian rises, scars to stars, legacy reborn in hearts afar." Aaliyah was the guardian, her sacrifice not death, but leadership. She turned to Elias. "We rebuild for them." He knelt, not in defeat, but love. "For us." The epilogue unfolded in Harlem, Aaliyah's cafe named Isabella's Light opening its doors, soul food and dreams served to a community reborn. X hailed her, legacy reborn, waitress to warrior. But a final hook, a letter arrived, no sender, with a new drawing, another child, another scar. "The lullaby never ends," Lily whispered, her pendant glowing faintly. Aaliyah's eyes met Elias's, their future uncertain but fierce. From ashes, they rose, a legacy not of Cain's blood, but of hearts united, ready for the next verse.